Good evening. Oh, that's much better.
Good evening, Andrew.
If you tried the spicy sauce, I hope you are hanging in there. Welcome to this year's Soulful Supper. Many of you have come from afar to be with us tonight. At A2S, we're thankful for our growing community. And today we get to explore how the strength in the diversity of the people and programs at A2S fosters community. A community that breaks barriers to create help that can change the world, in which every story truly matters. So special thanks to all of you for making it out tonight, to our sponsors, our donors, our volunteers, our staff. I'm going to pause at that point. Staff, Laura, Denise, Uche, the invisible team right now in Nigeria, the committee. Thank you for all you do, and really thanks for traveling this journey with us. To our champions in Nigeria, their powerful stories have brought us together to celebrate, to reflect, and to explore the days ahead. I would like to take this opportunity to recognize a special group of people. Please, can every current and former A2S board member stand up? Please, can you give them a round of applause? Thank you. Over the course of this journey, they stepped up in such unique ways. Every class of the board had such unique role to play in getting us here today. And for their leadership, we want to say thank you. We are very, very grateful. God has been faithful, and we're so thankful for His grace that allows us to share in His mission to bring healing to a hurting world and to share the gift of hope with one another, no matter how we look, where we're from, or where we're born. So I want to say welcome once again, and thank you for saying yes to inspiring hope, to sharing smiles, and to empowering dreams. And God bless.
Hello everyone, my name is Ife. I'm one of the US scholars from Nigeria. I am also a freshman at Rice University, and I'm also on the basketball team. Unfortunately, I cannot be there with you guys today. I wanted to be there so bad, but we have started our official practice, get ready for the season, and we are in the middle of midterms for our school. And also, if I come home, I will have to play Andrew one-on-one, and he doesn't like in basketball. But anyway, I just want to say a big thank you to each and every one of you sitting out there. You are a huge reason why kids like me get to pursue their dream in life and pursue everything that they want in life. I just want to say a big thank you from the bottom of my heart, and also on behalf of the kids in the After School Academy, we just want to say a big thank you. I just want to give a shout out to my host family, Albert, Sinclair, Riley Jane, Charlotte, and Michael, Mr. Frank, Mrs. Kieran. I also want to give a big shout out to you guys. I love you guys and I miss you guys every day. Can't wait to come home for Christmas break. With that being said, I would like to introduce someone to the stage, someone who's been my rock, someone who's been there for me every step of the way, who's taken care of me since I've been in the United States, someone who's also one of the big reasons why I'm here today, and that is the person of Mrs. Kim and Lisa. Do well, go kill it, I'm rooting for you. Thank you each and every one of you once again. I hope you guys are enjoying your night. God bless.
Just for a second here, I'm not from Nigeria, so I did not know that I would get that wonderful introduction. So as I wipe my tears away, bear with me as I start. My name is Kieran Laniza. I'm Miss Kieran that you heard Iffy talking about. And I'm just blessed to be here. I'm humbled to be here sharing our story with A2S. And like Andrew mentioned, there's so many parts of A2S, entrepreneurial, the After School Academy, and then there's the U.S. Scholars. And that has been our connection with A2S. I live here in Charlotte with my husband Frank, and we have 5 children of our own. Our 6th child joined us as an A2S scholar. You just met him, Iffy, in September of 2019. And so our journey with A2S began. Really and truly, though, it began long before I even knew about A2S. As a graduate student a long time ago, won't share that time either, I attended 2 medical mission trips to Africa, South Africa area. And although that was a different area of Africa than Nigeria, it was there that I just was able to connect with the African people. I can always sit down and think about the meetings we had after we worked in our medical tents all day, and it was long, laborious days, and we'd gather together for a worship meeting, and tribal 14 or 15 different tribes were represented at this one worship meeting, all singing praises to the one God. And the zeal and the joy for the Lord was infectious. And I remember at a young age of 23, I love these people and I want more. And, so fast forward 20 years later, my kids attend Covenant Day School in Matthews. Our former headmaster is here tonight as well. And he approached my husband and wanted us to host an A2S student. And so that experience 20 years ago made that decision easy. This is my opportunity to have that culture, have these people in my home. I didn't really know anything about A2S yet. I just said yes to be a host family. So I want to share with you tonight some of our favorite experiences and stories with Iffy. And to do that, I started at my own home table. I gathered my kids around and we shared all of our favorite memories with Iffy. He's been with us for 3 years, and we just sat and reminisced, and it was such a fun night for us. We even Zoomed Iffy in so he could be a part of that. But I don't know if he's Zooming in tonight, so I wanted to say to Iffy, if you're listening from Texas, I'm sorry you can't be here to defend yourself for this. They are the kids' favorites. So first, we were reminiscing about our first trip to the beach. Iffy had never seen the ocean. And my kids were trying to explain it to him and help him understand how powerful the water is, the currents, and that. However, I'm not sure he really realized that. We got to the beach, all fully clothed, out of the car, to the water, and I really thought he was joking. But sure enough, within 5 minutes of having the water rush his feet backwards, I see his hands going backwards like this and then crash into the water. And sure enough, with 5 other young kids, it didn't take long for them to join him in the water in all of their clothes. So that was a fun ride back to the beach house. We remember the many, many dance parties we had in our den. Quarantine was tough. We had 8 people under one roof, and we had a lot of dance parties. But if you're 6'10", now 6'11", low-hanging chandeliers, low ceilings are quite the hazard. So I could ask 3 of my children who are here tonight, how many times did Iffy hit his head on the chandelier during those dance parties? Too many. Probably one of our favorite stories. I doubted myself as a host mom at this point. Our hitchhiking story. So the first week Iffy joined us, he was at basketball practice, and I was running here and there from different activities on my way to pick up Iffy at Covenant Day. And I got a phone call from a friend. Karen, I think I see your student walking down Highway 51, a 4-lane road, not necessarily a great road to just walk down. And he's been at my house for less than a week. Not sure he even knows the way home. Surely you're not right, Karen. There aren't many 7-foot kids with Covenant Day bags walking down 51. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm just nervous. So I, of course, go as fast as I can to the house to find Iffy. He's sitting down, and he says, he can see I'm anxious. He says, "Ma'am, don't worry. I put my thumb out just like they do in the movies. And a nice man picked me up and took me all the way home." I was beside myself. Andrew's gonna fire me as a host mom. In his first week here, he's hitchhiked. Not everyone in America is nice, Iffy. We have to learn that role. One of our favorite. We all remembered coming home from multiple basketball games. where Frank had determined that if he had dropped too many passes, this was not good. So he had 2 cinder blocks that he would walk up and down our street. Yes, Frank did walk with him. However, this was a reoccurring thing. So if he knew, if he dropped too many passes of that game, the cinder blocks were going to be out waiting for him when he got home. And best of all, it's my turn, my favorite stories. And I haven't even shared these with the kids. I didn't say this at this time, but these 2 stories are super close to my heart, and I share with you tonight because they show how when you invite HUS into your life and into your home, and it is a personal experience. They become a part of your family. Favorite story. My Aunt Michael is my baby. At the time when Iffy came, she was 3, almost 4. So the mornings in our house are somewhat chaotic. We have lots of lunches to pack, lots of water bottles to fill, and somehow we make it happen. We get all in the car. Iffy can only fit in the front seat, so he's in the front always. And Michael, who's the last to be dropped off because she's in preschool, is in the very, very back, 3rd row. So we drop everybody off, and almost every morning, I drop Iffy off at high school. He gets out of the car and goes around to the back to get his stuff out of the car. No words are exchanged, but my sweet little 4-year-old hand goes over the back seat. Iffy grabs it. They do a squeeze. I see it in the rearview mirror. Done, off to school. Almost every other day. And that picture in my mind and in my heart, in my rearview mirror, I will never forget that picture. My next story has to do more with Iffy and I's relationship, and just the host mom / host student relationship, and it's very special to me. Iffy had a lot of AAU basketball tournaments. Some were a little more stressful than others. Some we had to leave early from school. And this particular one, I was picking him up to go to Kansas City early from school, and it was a tough one. So I picked him up, and I could just see the tension and the worry and the stress on Iffy. He even told me in the car, I said, "Hey buddy, do you feel okay?" He's like, "My heart is racing, man." So then I just pulled over in the Covenant Day parking lot, grabbed his 2 big hands in mine, and I said, "This is not of God. This worry, this anxiety is not of God. He's in control of your entire future. So we're going to pray through that." And we did. And what a moment that was. I will never forget that moment I just got to experience with Iffy. Albert, my 7-year-old son, said to me one day in carpool line, just matter of fact, "Hey Mom, I love having a brother." That's it. He became one of us, a part of my family. And then we became a part of the HUS family. What a blessing. You see, I was sitting in your spot 3 years ago. We're no one special. Our family's no one special. It's how God is working. And God is working through HUS to save and change lives of these students, of entrepreneurs, to save the lives of these little children at the after-school academy. God is at work. It was just a choice of ours to jump in with him. So we're nothing here. It's not about us. It's about the work that God is doing to save and change lives. Frank and I really try to get to know any ministry that we want to contribute to or become a part of. And with HUS, I've been able to just touch and see and feel the ways in which our contributions, the ways in which our home has served kids and changed their lives. HUS has been the hands and feet of Christ in my eyes. And you can see that as we go throughout the program. Don't miss out on that blessing. All we did was say yes, and we jumped right in with them. And what a family we have made. What a blessing. Thank you for the opportunity to share my story with HUS tonight. Thank you to Andrew and Molly, and for the unimaginable sacrifices you guys make every day to grow this ministry, to reach more lives, and to think of more ways of serving. Thank you.
Thank you, Kieran, for sharing those really awesome stories and those words of encouragement. That was really awesome. Good evening, everyone. My name is Laura Knight. I'm the development manager here at HUS. If you've received a voicemail recently and you were wondering who that was probably me. Calling for A2S, I do that a lot now. So before we play this next video, I just wanted to provide a little bit of context. Our trip to Nigeria this summer was jam-packed as usual with event after event. And we had some really special things happen this summer on top of our normal summer programs. You may have heard we opened a youth center. But we also had our normal entrepreneur pitch competitions and vacation Bible school, and it was just a few days of a lot of activity. But through those days of intense programming, the thing I noticed the most was how involved our kids were. A2S is 12 years old now, and we're seeing our kids grow up and graduate and find success in their various ways. Whether it's from the After School Academy or the Scholars Program, or they've been an entrepreneur with us for a little while, or maybe they were just a part of our outreach, and that's where we met them. But the cool thing is they're going off and finding success like we always expected them to, but they're also coming back. They recognize the value in the community that we're building, and they want to be able to give back to it and to continue being a part of A2S. When we started building our youth center, we immediately found that scholars were on the site helping with building. They molded bricks, they mixed concrete, they helped us form the foundation from the beginning, just as they did as a part of our programs. Then we had kids who did the electrical work, who made the windows, and who filled this building with loving staff members and volunteers ready to pour into our kids and community in this new space. I can't imagine a more perfect way to start this new chapter for our next generation of kids at A2S. Our kids are now surrounded by role models who know exactly what it's like to be in their shoes and who can show them what success looks like in our community. They're surrounded with individuals whose hands are not only built this community with us over the last 12 years, but that built this youth center. And now, the video.
For 12 years, we have built a community and access to success. From our foundations in Benin City, Nigeria, and Davidson, North Carolina, we sowed the seeds to invest in the future of Nigerian children and youth, with the hope of forming a better tomorrow. These children grew up with us. We watched them play, learn, and grow. Now, many have graduated and made good lives for themselves. Their seeds sprouted, budded, and flourished into the incredible adults you see today. They are our community. We have watched as our community returns to our programs to serve the next generation. They volunteer with us, contract with us, and work on our staff. These are the hands that built this youth center.
My name is Gideon. I was an A2S after school academic kid, and now I'm an A2S scholar. My hands built this youth center.
My name is Ada. I was an A2S scholar, now the head personnel for access to success, and my hands built this youth center.
My name is Theodore, and I was an after-school academic kid and A2S scholar. I am now an A2S entrepreneur and volunteer. My hands built this youth center.
Hi, I'm Sandra. I was an A2S scholar, but now I'm the A2S Human Resource President, and my hands built this youth center.
Hello, my name is Lovett. I was an after-school academic kid. I am an A2S scholar and a teaching volunteer. My hands built this youth center.
Hello, my name is Akube. I'm an A2S scholar, and my hands built this youth center.
Hi, my name is Uche. I was an A2S scholar, and now I'm the operation manager at A2S Nigeria, and my hands built this youth center.
It's amazing to travel the journey with them and just watch as they grow. So tonight I want us to take a few minutes to do something unusual, to walk in their shoes. And I'll explain this. So just for context, currently in Nigeria, 33% of the population is unemployed. Over 40% of Nigerians live on less than $1 a day. That's second most in the world. 18.5 million children do not have access to education. That's the most in the world, and 96% of new businesses in Nigeria fail after the first 10 years. So you get to walk in their shoes. Imagine that you are a single mother with 2 children. So this is actually an activity. We're going to do an activity. So you have 2 to 3 minutes at your table. Discuss amongst yourselves and come up with some ways that you would cope if you were in their shoes. You are a single parent in Nigeria with 2 children. You work 31 days, you make $2 a day, and it adds up to $62. But you have to pay rent, $12. $12 for your utilities, $20 for monthly school supplies, and if you eat a meal, 3 meals a day, for each of you, that's $279. So if both children attend school and each household member eats 3 meals a day, your monthly expenses will total $343. What will you do to make ends meet with just $62 a month? Please take 2 to 3 minutes at your table. Discuss amongst yourselves. How would you do it?
I feel blessed that we have an expert at our table who has spent time in Nigeria.
We did this exercise as a board, and that's exactly one of the, it's like, and that's kind of, the conversation, then you opportunity for success too. So, I mean, it's there, yeah, I mean, for sure, but it's just it's an unsolvable problem, like it's just, yeah.
What I was wondering why
One more minute.
Well, you have to, if you've seen the places that they live, you probably know why. Well, but the housing is just like this. I mean, it's like a one. And also maybe and they're just like, I mean, these 2 tables. I mean, that's why. It's just not. It's not like an apartment.
20 seconds. All right, time up. We need at least 2 people from 2 different tables to maybe just tell us how they would make ends meet, or what did your table come up with? Maybe just one suggestion from your table. Any volunteers? Huh?
The first thing I said was call Andrew.
Any other volunteers? Oh, Titi. Yeah, Titi's over there.
Good evening, everyone. Well, first of all, we're like, they can't even cover food, right? That's like very basic. So we started talking about different solutions, go to the A2S after school for the kids, maybe live with relatives, have a few family members live under the same roof. Unfortunately, some people have to put their kids to work and they miss school for that reason. But those are ways that people can survive.
Thank you. We have one person here.
There's somebody over there.
I want to hear this.
I would either limit one meal or maybe our whole family work together to make our own little store to sell some stuff and earn money.
Awesome. So something you guys should notice is there's nothing about savings there. Nothing to cover healthcare or any incidentals. And this is what we deal with, people who live on the brink of life daily. And so I wanted to share 3 stories with you tonight. I wanted to share the story of the Aguirre family, a young girl, Precious Okoche, and the Arahoa family. The Aguirres, the father left the home because he couldn't really cater to their needs. And this woman was stuck with the children. And they really spent the days hawking items. I still remember sitting in their living room and she didn't want to come home because they owed 5 months rent. And our staff talked to me about it when I was in Nigeria, and I told her to come home. And all of a sudden she came home, she was scared, but she had her neighbors who probably were owing some month's rent to look out for her, just so the landlord didn't catch her. And I sat down with her and we talked and realized her business had folded. And A2S ended up paying for her outstanding rent 3 months ahead of time, putting all the children back in school. They currently attend the after-school academy where they get a hot meal and they get help with their schoolwork. And we gave her money to start her business all over again. And that business right now is growing bit by bit, and she's able to support her family. Precious Okoje. 2 years ago, I was coaching basketball camp, and there was this girl everyone was laughing at every time she made a move. She had no reason being at basketball camp. But the scholars, the A2S University scholars who now volunteer at our camp, every time she touched the ball, they cheered. And I thought at first they were making jest of her, but I realized they were actually cheering her on because they knew her story. And then at some point during empowerment camp, one of our staff members, Festus, our creative arts coordinator, brought her to me. And she was talking to me and she was crying. The reason she was at basketball camp was because it was her only opportunity to meet me. The after-school academy was full, and we had a waiting list, and there was no way she was going to get the help that she needed, so she enrolled for an outreach program. And she got into basketball camp. And she told me that she had lost both her parents within a span of 2 months. The person who was supposed to support her, who was a friend to the dad, was trying to take advantage of her, and she had nowhere to go. So Precious right now is almost an A2S after-school academy kid. We're paying for Precious to go to school. She wants to be a world-class chef. You know, our staff, the community, now the Dignified Giving Center, we provide clothing for Precious. And she's one of those few kids where she eats lunch at the after-school academy every day, and on her way home, we give her an extra plate to take home just so she has dinner. A2S is her family. No dad, no mom. We are her support system. We provide her clothing and everything for Precious. Lastly, the Agahoa family. This story is near and dear to my heart because these children, I've almost just watched them grow in my hands. Their mother had no way to send them to school. She told them that I can't pay for you to go to school, but she has some of the smartest kids you'd ever meet. Gideon today is an electrical engineer and installed all the CCTV cameras at our youth center. Gideon also installed all our solar panels. Theodore, and Mr. King, do you have your jacket? So Mr. King is wearing a jacket that Theodore made. And he's just an amazing entrepreneur who creates the most amazing of items. And her youngest daughter, her youngest child, Pamela is a student of banking and finance. She's studying banking and finance at the University of Benin. A2S has helped raise those children, and if you talk to her today, she would say, my husband always wanted them to go to school, but when he died, I knew there was no means for me to go there. Just 2 months ago, we employed her as one of the cleaners at the after-school academy at the A2S Youth Center. And you get to watch these kids and you watch them grow and you get to see just the tremendous impact that we've had in their lives. And when we were building the youth center, I remember saying to Gideon, this is your house. If you don't build it right, I'm going to hold you responsible. That's the type of impact that we're having. And we're taking what seems to be a misery in the lives of these kids and we're turning it into a ministry. And they're just so beautiful, and I'm glad that you guys get to be a part of that activity. We wanted to do that just so we can paint a picture for you of what they go through every day and the way that A2S steps in to fill those gaps. Am I supposed to introduce Erica? Oh yeah, I'm supposed to introduce Erica, so. No, I need to introduce you, man, because this is someone I respect so much. You know, when you work, Erica is someone I respect so much. She's the founder of Bloom Strategic Communications, and she's been to Nigeria with me 4 times, and she's practically family. She can just take her bags and walk into Benin right now. But you know, we spend so much time working in what we do, and we don't spend enough time working on what we do. And she is that outlet. She asks all the tough questions. She asks all the right questions. She forces me to think outside of the box. And I'm just so honored that I get to travel this journey with her. We barely see eye to eye, and that is a good thing because she scrutinizes everything I say, and that's probably why I forgot to introduce her. But I'm glad I did. So, Erica Madden, please.
What he doesn't know is I have the mic now, right? So he did the introduction, but now I have the mic, so I can say what I want about Andrew. My name is Erica, and I have been lucky enough to be part of A2S for quite a while now. I made my first trip to Nigeria in 2017. And as I listen to all the stories tonight, it just feels like there's a common theme that resonates. You know, if you read the cards and all of the stories there, I feel like when you interact with A2S, you're just different. You're changed. You start to hold yourself to this higher standard because you really believe in a future of possibility. And our teams and our donors and our volunteers, our A2S students and scholars and entrepreneurs, they all just look for additional ways to connect and fill gaps and grow together. I feel like we recognize that we have this significant opportunity to learn from one another and create a future that looks different and one that looks better. This has certainly been true for me. The things I've learned and the people that I've met, the conversations I've had and the things that I've seen, I'm not the same person as before I collided with A2S. Besides my own personal experience, I've had a unique advantage of watching so many A2S stories unfold. here in the US, certainly with our scholars and our staff and our host families and so many other supporters. But then at my second home in Benin City, I mean, every time I go to Nigeria, I'm just amazed at the shifts that are happening. And this just isn't a place where change and improvements happen very swiftly, to say the least. Really except when A2S has a hand in it. I don't want to downplay like the intelligence and innovative nature of our team, but I feel that what makes A2S have the ability to move mountains is because we mix that intelligence with this empathy and compassion and this special kind of hope that just doesn't exist in a lot of places. Our team is building trust in a place where it's severely lacking, and the people that we serve latch on and they want to be part of the story, and really they just serve all of us right back. In a minute, you're going to get to see another video. This one is of one of the teams that won our pitch competition this summer. And this team has a really unique story. One of its co-founders, Destiny, has been part of A2S since he was like a little kid at the After School Academy. And he's currently on A2S scholarship at the University of Benin. For most part, our pitch competition has been a way for new people to find A2S, new community members to find us. But this time, Destiny saw an opportunity to take advantage of something else that A2S had to offer. And unfortunately, he had some time on his hands because he's been waiting out a teacher strike at university. So he and two friends created a new process to make fufu, which we didn't have here tonight. It's far less spicy, but it's a very popular dough-like food, and I think our host mom is going to learn how to. She's working on it, right? You're going to get there. And so it's made from starches like plantains or yams or cassava. And this group, it's not a very shelf-stable food, so this team has created a new process that basically makes it into flour so that you can use it at any time and make this essential African food. So Destiny's team was selected as a finalist for our pitch competition by judges who had no idea that they were already involved in our A2S program, so we weren't giving any preferential treatment. And the founders showed up, about a week before our pitch competition for a pre-pitch that we do where we give them feedback. And I'll be honest and say they needed a lot of feedback. They certainly needed a lot of work. And the reality was they heard our feedback and they went home and they worked really hard to use what they had heard to do better. But perhaps most impressive to me anyway was the afternoon before our actual pitch competition. Our US team was in Nigeria. We hosted a boot camp for local entrepreneurs and community members, and Destiny and his co-founders showed up. And 12 hours later, they came for the big day, and they had clearly not only implemented the feedback that we had given them in the pre-pitch, but they had utilized some of the things that I had taught in this boot camp and made sure that I don't know how they did it in the evening before, and then changed their pitch, adjusted all of their slides and everything. And no other team had just made that much of a difference between their pre-pitch and when they actually came to pitch. And that was really one of the biggest reasons we selected them as winners. They certainly have the least experience from an entrepreneurial perspective. They are at the earliest stage of any other applicant, but they showed that hunger and their desire to learn and do better and the ability to apply feedback. And so, to me, that's what people who come into contact with A2S do. They see possibilities and they crave knowledge and the opportunity to do something more, and they're changed. And our biggest hope is that these individual life changes lead to community changes and lead to country changes and lead to world changes. So I hope you will really enjoy meeting Destiny and his team, and thank you for making it possible.
Hello, I'm Faustina, the Youth Center Director at Access to Success Nigeria. I want to tell you a story, the story of the three wise men here at Access to Success. Destiny, Success, and Precious earned their nickname among our community due to their friendship and their innovative nature. These three scholars came together through our programs and have changed each other's lives and the lives of those around them. This is a beautiful story of community, drive, and of entrepreneurial spirit. Let's go talk to Destiny and learn more.
My name is Destiny Elimibe, and I'm an A2S scholar.
I'm a final student of the University of Benin studying anatomy, and I am the marketing manager of Affiliated, winner of the 2022 pitch competition, Access to Success. I was actually one of the first set of children admitted into after-school academy when it started. Prior to that, I struggled academically and socially. I really could not communicate with others as much, but then it has helped me build the foundations of keeping a healthy relationship. And with that, getting into university, I wasn't scared. I was confident in the fact that ATOS had already helped me build a quality foundation for the days ahead. Getting into the ATOS Scholars Program made it a smooth sail for my family and I, as it helps us financially and otherwise. With the foundation that I have on building healthy relationships, when I got into school, I met some amazing friends, from success to pressures to gifts, and having experienced ATOS as a blessing, I decided to share this to my friends.
I am Ogogo Precious. I'm an ATOS scholar, and I'm a 400 level student of University of Benin studying anatomy. I am the director of finance of Affiliated, winners of the ATOS pitch competition 2022. In my first year in school, it was really hard for me to cope with my studies because the major source of my family income was subsistence farming, and it was really hard to cope with being in school and also going home to work and coming back to school, and I missed a lot of classes during that period. Having told Destiny my story, he introduced me to Access to Success.
I am Etulum Chukwumaya Success, an Access to Success scholar, 400 level student of the University of Benin, anatomy major. I am the founder and CEO of Affiliated Ventures, winner of the Access to Success pitch competition 2022. In a dire need of support and financial assistance, I was introduced to a program, Access to Success to be specific, by Ellen with Destiny, my classmate and friend. Prior to my admission, my family was going through some series of financial constraints, owing to the fact that that business money got stolen by armed robbers, so we're really going through a lot.
Studying in the Federal University has its own perks and stress. Stress being that a 4-year course could span up to 5, 6, or even 7 years. Take me for example, I got admission in the year 2017 to have completed my program early 2021, but it's 2022 now and I'm still studying. All these are owing to the lapses of our federal government of not being able to pay the salaries of our academic staff as at when due. Access to Success gives more than a scholarship. They teach scholars to be able to think collaboratively, use their time and their minds wisely. It had an exhilarating feel to it when we won the pitch competition 2022. We did plan a lot for this competition, but then having to win the pitch competition was another ballgame entirely, and so it was a dream come true.
Winning the competition was exciting for me, seeing something so small become so big, owing to the fact that we are the least team that pitched that day in terms of experience and age, and we are a startup. So it was really a dream come true, and we are grateful to God for this opportunity that He gave to us.
You've heard our story. This is how ATOS continues to impact lives in Nigeria. The Scholars Program is not just handing out scholarship. Through ATOS, we receive the tools and encouragement to think innovatively about what we could create in the world.
At Access to Success, we step in to fill the gaps in our community so that these youths and many others like them can have the opportunity to reach their full potential. Try to imagine a future where these youths do not have to make same difficult decisions as their parents do every day. Please, I ask on behalf of us here in Nigeria that you prayerfully consider giving to fuel the dreams of these youths. Thank you.
I don't know if you saw the girl in the red dress, the red t-shirt dancing. That's our scholarship coordinator. Her name is Comfort, so you can imagine how excited she was that Destiny won the pitch competition. So last year when I talked to you at Soulful Supper, I talked about my why. Standing up here always feels like a miracle. That question, why me, remains the foundation of my very transformative journey. I asked God that question when Mom had to sell everything. she labored to get just to put food on the table. When I was not sure if I'd be able to go to school, and at some point things took a different turn when that question, why me, was now born out of gratitude. I got the rare opportunity to go to England and study, and then to Davidson College. Every day is a realization that the answer to that question is not instant, it's a process. Every time I get to see a child smile, dream, and hope, I get some answers. Every time I get to be a part of a chain that connects the hands that give to the hands that receive, I get answers to the question, why me? If you've never asked that question, I hope you're encouraged to do so tonight. And if you have, I hope you're encouraged to press deeper into finding answers to your own why, no matter where you are. While we live in a world that desires instant gratification, our answers come over a lifetime, and they are not found in our accomplishments or statuses, but in the pieces of our hearts that we leave with those we encounter. To be whole is to empty ourselves completely when it is all said and done. Given my background and in the pursuit of that question, why me, I always feel an immense sense of gratitude for my opportunities. Coach McKillop is here. I don't know if he remembers, but one day I was talking to him and I said, thank you so much for my scholarship. In a normal sense, I expected Coach McKillop to say, you are welcome. Instead, he said, you earned the right to be here. These were two words communicating its realities. For me, I remember that what life was like before opportunities, but Coach McKillop saw what I deserved. His context was a harsh reality to relate with because he gave me a gift I could not have found elsewhere and told me that I earned it. In return, I maximized that gift, always feeling like it could have easily been someone else. Of course, Coach would not play with his job by doing me favors. And I would not have had the opportunity if I did not prepare to seize it when it came. In giving me such a transformational gift, he emphasized my worth and not my pain. He saw and emphasized my potential and not my struggles. Coach knew my story. He was aware of my challenges, but he empowered me and treated me like everyone else. I felt dignified by how he treated me, and I hope he feels dignified with how I received the gift of his mentorship. What Coach showed me was how to give with dignity as I continue on my path to discovery. And at A2S, we have carried that mindset to dignify giving, and we do it in three major ways. We model Christ in how we serve, we are passionate about people, and we strive to be good stewards of time, talents, and treasures. Today you've heard about multiple entry points into A2S, but one important thing is that Christ meets us at the point of our needs. And in the way that we've developed our programs, we work to ensure every child feels at home. For some, it's the need for a hot meal. For others, it's help with school or a chance to just get help with schoolwork. For others, it's a safe and constructive place to learn and grow with their peers or to develop entrepreneurial skills. And for many, it's a place to get the basic necessities that are lacking. Wherever they encounter A2S, we're able to grow with them and love them. Jennifer, our host daughter, who's here today, was mostly interested in the hot meal that we serve at the After School Academy. But today, she's an A2S scholar in the US and a senior at the University of Lynchburg. Ada, who you saw earlier, needed help to complete her education and is currently employed as our health personnel at A2S. What we continue to see from modeling Christ is a community that is forming, a relational community that inspires hope in one another. Secondly, we're passionate about people and serve and strive to honor them by the way that we serve. We invest in the capacity development of both our staff and students. At A2S, every story matters. and we want to ensure that those we serve can see light at the end of the tunnel. In this season, we continue to work to bridge the gap between investment in education of our youth and their preparedness for the workforce. We do this through entrepreneurship and career guidance support, both of which helps our students to explore alternative pathways to the workforce, while building collaborative networks of like-minded individuals. The story of the 3 wise men you listened to earlier is a prime example. Destiny came to the A2S After School Academy program, became a scholar at the university studying anatomy, and introduced friends who needed A2S. Together, these scholars developed a business idea that will potentially transform the landscape of staple food in Nigeria. They won our pitch competition and will be mentored by US and Nigerian business leaders, after which they will receive a $6,000 zero-interest loan to start their business. Beyond the mentoring and the funding, A2S will continue to be a resource and a thought partner with them. Our passion for people is the reason why our scholars and entrepreneurs come back to give, because they know they were loved on consistently. Lastly, we feel so loved by you, our community of givers who come together to help meet the needs of those we serve. We strive to ensure that we're good stewards of your resources. At the same time, we understand that A2S needs to become sustainable. In the next 8 years left of our season of promise, A2S is exploring ways that we can tap into the strength of our community. The Youth Center gives us an opportunity to integrate our programs, document the model, and explore pathways that generate revenue on ground to further multiply every dollar you give. We do not only want to prepare our champions for the workforce, we want to work with them. We want to have them work with us and create work with them in a way that fosters community. After sponsoring these children to school and to the university and then to the after-school academy, we want to ensure that we see them live their best lives and give back to the community. We want to develop more Gideons and Lovets. We do not want your dollars, your time, or talents to be stagnant. We want it to be gifts that keep on giving. What you see today is that community. Some A2S board members are wearing a jacket made by Theodore, the featured A2S entrepreneur, former after-school academy kid. Every US staff member is wearing Sholin apparel made by an A2S-funded business. Every US scholar in this room is wearing a Akowe Victory. She was one of those who welcomed you to Soulful Supper earlier and runs a business that was funded by A2S. As you walked around earlier, you interacted with our US scholars and also saw honey made in Nigeria. Just like I felt dignified in how Coach McKillop gave me an opportunity by elevating my body of work and not undermining the power of my story, A2S wants to ensure that we dignify giving in how we pass it along. In Nigeria, a country of about 200 million people, they are the greatest resource, the people. They are passionate, they are innovators, they are dreamers, and they are leaders. Yes, they often go without a meal, but that's where A2S steps in. They fall sick, but the sick bay is now there to create access to basic healthcare needs. A lot of times they cannot even afford decent clothing, but the Dignified Giving Center meets that need. Thanks to some of our partners who are here, Mind by Sandy, Features, Under Armour, right? You guys help to make that possible. Paying for tuition is a scary thought for most families, but the scholarships help. In an environment where hope is hard to hold on to, A2S has become that beacon of hope. The Youth Center, a lab and home to many dreams. So in Nigeria, many people pray by saying, I look up to the hills from where my help comes from, and they say it comes from the Lord. We just built this new youth center that will allow us to do so many things. 240 kids will walk through our doors daily to receive a much needed hot meal in a country where millions go to school hungry. 31 full-time staff members and 14 part-time staff members will go to work daily to educate our children and empower our youth, and then serve struggling communities in a country where 33% are unemployed. Entrepreneurs will collaborate and innovate. To do this, we need your help. To continue on this journey where we honor Christ, remain passionate about people, and turn your resources to the purest form of love, we need your help. Our goal tonight is to raise $200,000, and we've raised close to $100,000. We need to raise about $105,000 tonight so that we can continue to dignify giving in ways that makes our world a better place and honors God. We just built that youth center, and because we built that youth center, we want to run it to the standard where we can actually operate at capacity, because not until we can satisfy the needs of 240, we cannot raise those numbers to 300. Because right now we have a waiting list of over 100 children. And tonight you can help us say yes to their dreams. So as we continue to discover answers to our why, we also build the habit of how we give. To live out our why is to truly dignify giving. And I hope that you would join us tonight. In 2013, after the After School Academy was founded, a young boy slipped a notebook into my hands. And while he did so, he said, "I had been keeping this journal, but I stopped since A2S came. My prayers have been answered." The last lines in his journal read, "Enter A2S, ... That boy is Theodore. In 2020, a young girl gave me a note and she said, "I know you think you are just the president of A2S, but you are my foster father." Ada is now our health personnel on staff. I once called his father to share the good news that Uche will relocate from one of the worst slums in Nigeria, in Lagos, to Benin, to continue his schooling as our very first A2S scholar. His father said, "Andrew, I know I've never really met you. I do not have the means to take care of my child. I left my son's destiny in your hands a long time ago." Today, Uche is a chemical engineer, but due to the employment woes in Nigeria, cannot get a job after finishing top of his class. But he serves as our operations manager at A2S and is doing amazing things to help move the mission forward. Your why is an invitation to travel this journey of discovery with us at A2S, where our lives and that of those we encounter is a joy to behold. And I really do hope that you will join us tonight. Thank you so much for all that you do. Thanks for really nudging us and empowering us to keep moving forward. Thanks for picking my calls. Thanks for picking Laura's calls. And thanks for always saying yes. And I hope that tonight is just another opportunity for us to move forward together. God bless. And without further ado, Laura, I think she's over there. Without further ado, Pops, right? Without further ado, we're going to call our board chairman to the stage to give us his vote of thanks and to say a closing prayer. And then, Laura, you want to say something at the end? Because I know we have to figure out this auction thing, right? When does auction close? 8:45. So Mr. King went to Nigeria with me in 2009, and I just finished at Davidson when I saw a man standing, and I walked up to him and he said, "I don't know how anyone can come out from this place and accomplish the things that you've accomplished." And he said, "Give me a chance to be your father. I know that I cannot replace your dad." And every day since then, he's been true to his word. He's been there, he's been strong, and we got to go back to Nigeria this summer. to see all the work that he's done for the children in Nigeria. So I'm very honored to invite Mr. King Maweni, aka Pops. At A2S, we barely ever call him by his name, we just call him Pops.
You all have heard some very poignant and elegant stories about the impact of A2S, that is impact that you support with your finances and your prayers. I need to thank you for that. But I also want to take a moment to share with you what I think makes A2S unique, in addition to everything you've heard. The first thing is that Andrew carries a vision from our Father. It is God's vision for his children in Nigeria. And he has the strength to keep us on track. We don't deviate. We follow the commission that we've been given. The second thing is that makes A2S unique in my mind is that we do a complete job in trying to break the cycle of poverty. Americans are really good at relief. We can go into Haiti and build houses after a hurricane. We can feed people after a flood. We're very good at it. But the next thing we need to do is think about rehabilitation. And what about development for the people? Well, A2S does all three. Our relief is feeding children who only get one meal a day, and some of them don't get any meal some days. Our rehabilitation is getting those kids up on grade. If they come in and they score a primary 1, but in school they're at primary 3, we put them in primary 1 and make sure they get up to primary 3, for example. So that's our rehabilitation. Our development is the fact that we not only teach skills beyond school, we have the entrepreneurial program. Andrew didn't mention it, but we have 250 entrepreneurs that aren't funded by us that get together in community to help each other. Never would have thought of it before A2S. So we have scholars. Our scholars come back to teach our students. Isn't that a great full circle? Our entrepreneurs hire some of our A2S students. Isn't that the beginning of the completion of a great circle? We are unique. And I think that makes us worthy of your support, both in prayer and financially when you can. So I won't go on because I realize that I'm the only one between you and your cars and doing what else you have scheduled for Saturday night. But I want to thank you so much for your support of A2S. You make a difference to us, and you certainly make a difference to a community, not just students in after-school program, to a community in Benin, Nigeria. Can we bow our heads, please? Father, we thank you for this evening, this time we've been able to share in community and learn more about each other as we learn about A2S. We thank you for the hearts for your children that are represented in this room. We thank you that you've taken what we do and leveraged it and made it more than we ever thought it could be. We thank you that we know you're going to be with us in this next season of promise as we move on to the next phase of your plan for your children in Nigeria. Pray that you'll be with everyone as they leave tonight and give them a safe journey home. And we thank you for their support of A2S. In our Savior's name, amen.